Hey, come on, baby! Come on! Yes! Come on! Ah! Yes!
3:47 in the afternoon, a Saturday. You almost didn't go. You sat in your car in the parking lot for 11 minutes, deciding whether to walk in. The kind of 11 minutes where you check the time twice, scroll something you don't actually read,
We're giving you clairvoyance enough to find the rebels' hidden fort.
Disturbing.
and almost convince yourself the headache is real. Then you opened the door. You went in. You said hi to the two people closest to the entrance. You poured yourself something you weren't going to drink. You stood at the edge of the kitchen, where the food was, where someone's playlist was looping a song from 2009 that nobody had bothered to skip yet. You did not know you had just ended a 20-year lie.
The most you ever lost in a coin toss. I don't know. I couldn't say.
Somewhere in that room, across the floor, near the back, leaning against a wall they've leaned against 100 times before, there is a person who has been telling one specific story about themselves for 2 decades. They have told it at job interviews, at first dates, at their own wedding, at the small dinner where they met their in-laws for the first time and needed everyone to like them. They've polished it so many times the edges are worn smooth.
It's been traveling 22 years to get here. And now it's here. And it's either heads or tails.
Their entire adult identity is built on that story being true. It is not true. You know it. You've always known it. And until 3:47 this afternoon, you were the only person in the room who knew. You weren't planning to bring it up. You weren't even thinking about them when you walked in. You were wondering, honestly, if you'd left the oven on. But the second their eyes registered who had just stepped through the door,
You gotta hide that love deep inside you understand? Otherwise, these maggots out here on the street, they'll find it, they'll use it against you, and they will chew you up.
the second they did the quiet, panicked math, something in their face moved in a way the rest of the room could not unsee. Here's the thing about lies that survive for 20 years.
Whether you don't hear me typing, what the fuck you hear me doing in here. In here, that means that I am working. That means don't come in.
They don't survive on the lie itself. They survive on the audience not knowing. The whole structure works because every person inside that room is standing on the same false floor. And then one person walks in who is not standing on it. And the floor remembers, all at once, that it isn't real. Now they're sweating. Not visibly, not yet. But internally, that high, thin sweat that starts at the small of your back when your body remembers what your mouth has been hiding.
Why don't you start right now and get the fuck out of here?
They're scanning the room. They're trying to figure out if you came alone, if you came with anyone who would believe you, if there's any possible version of the next 90 minutes that doesn't end with you in a quiet corner with someone, finally telling them what you actually know. Let me back up, because I want you to understand exactly what they've been protecting all this time. 20 years ago, the lie wasn't a lie yet. It was a panic. The storyteller did a thing, or didn't do a thing, or said a thing they should not have said. They expected to get caught. They went to bed for 3 nights in a row, assuming the next morning was going to be the one where everything came apart.
A census taker once tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava bean, nice Chianti.
And the next morning came, and nothing happened. And the morning after that came, and nothing happened. And somewhere around the second week, they realized something quietly horrifying. They were going to get away with it. Not because they were clever, not because they were powerful, just because the world wasn't paying close enough attention. So they tried the first version of the cover story out on a low-stakes audience, a casual conversation, a throwaway lunch. They braced themselves. And the person across the table just nodded. The person across the table didn't push. The person across the table believed them. And in that single moment, the lie became a habit. The habit became an identity. The identity became the only version of themselves they could afford to maintain. And from that day forward, every other version of themselves, including the real one,
This is God.
became a liability they had to manage for the rest of their life. And for 20 years, that is what they have been doing. Maintenance. You probably didn't realize this, but every social move they've made, every group they joined, every group they quietly left, every wedding they did and didn't attend, has secretly been about keeping the lie quarantined. They have geofenced their entire life. There are people they have stopped calling because those people might overlap with you in conversation. There are family events they have found reasons to skip. There is an entire cousin they've been politely distant with for nearly a decade. That cousin once mentioned, casually, in front of the wrong audience, something that came uncomfortably close to the wound. None of it has looked like fear from the outside. It has looked like a busy life, a complicated calendar, adult priorities.
How could you be worthy? You're all killers.
I have experience and patience. A man can do anything if he has those.
But you were not the first witness who almost made it into the room. There have been near misses every couple of years that they intercepted before you ever knew about them. You are just the first one they could not block at the door. Let me describe the exact second the room turned today, because there was one. You probably missed it. It wasn't dramatic. Nobody yelled. Nobody confronted anybody. There was just a moment, maybe 40 seconds after you walked in, where the conversation by the back wall lulled. The person telling the story stopped mid-sentence, looked toward you, realized you were close enough to hear, and pivoted, smoothly, the way they always pivot. Except this time, the person they were talking to noticed the pivot, filed it, stored it. That's all it takes. One filed moment, one person in the audience who finally saw the seam. The lie didn't end when you walked in. The lie ended in the 18 seconds after, when the person who had been listening to the storyteller for 10 years looked at their face, really looked, and, for the first time in their friendship, thought one quiet, dangerous word. Wait. That wait is what's eating them tonight. I want to tell you a little more about the person at that party who saw it, because they are now a character in this story, whether they want to be or not.
Being brilliant's not enough, young man. You have to work hard. Intelligence is not a privilege, it's a gift, and you use it for the good of mankind.
They were standing maybe 4 feet away from the storyteller. They were holding a drink they had been nursing for an hour. They were not particularly tuned in to the conversation, until the moment the storyteller's voice changed pitch. It was a tiny change, the kind of pitch shift you would miss if you weren't already, somewhere underneath. Faintly suspicious. And here is the thing about that person. They have been faintly suspicious for years. They've never had a reason to commit to the suspicion. The storyteller has always been likable, generous in the small ways, the one who remembers everyone's birthday. But there have been small accumulations. A detail in a story that didn't quite line up with a detail in a different telling 6 months later. A photograph that didn't match the date that had been described. A name that was once dropped and then aggressively never mentioned again. That person filed all of it. They didn't act on any of it until tonight, when they watched the storyteller's voice change in response to you walking through a door, and the whole quiet, 10-year file in their head opened at the same time. You went home around 6. You said goodbye to the right people. Hugged the obligatory hugs.
Let me ask you something. If the rule you followed brought you to this, of what use was the rule?
Did the polite plate rinse before leaving so the host wouldn't feel taken advantage of. You drove home with the radio off. You ate something microwave. You went to bed without any sense at all that you had detonated anything. You probably told somebody, yeah, it was fine. Nothing happened when they asked how the thing was. Meanwhile, the storyteller has not slept. The storyteller is in their kitchen right now, with the lights off, at 1:14 a.m., drinking something they don't even like, replaying every word they said in front of you, every word you said in front of them, every micro-expression on every face in that room, trying to figure out exactly how exposed they are. Whether the friend who clocked the pitch shift is going to text someone tomorrow, whether the family group chat is going to start moving differently in 2 days, whether the slow, Awful conversation is going to start in 72 hours or 7 weeks. And then there is the partner, the person who lives with the storyteller, the person who is, right now, sleeping in the bed 20 feet away from where the storyteller is sitting in the dark. They noticed something tonight too. They couldn't tell you exactly what. They couldn't write it down on paper, but on the drive home, the storyteller was quieter than usual. The storyteller skipped their usual recap of the event. Who looked good, who looked bad, who's having a hard year. The storyteller said, "I'm tired, let's just go to bed," in a voice that wasn't quite their normal tired voice. And the partner, who is not stupid, who has been watching small things for years and stacking them politely on a shelf they almost never look at, felt the shelf tilt. They are not going to ask tonight. They are not going to ask tomorrow. They might not ask for a month. But the question is now in their bedroom. It's sitting in the corner. It is going to stay in the corner, and it is going to grow. Because here's what the storyteller knows about you.
Yeah, if I was a dealer, you'd be dead by now, motherfucker. You turn shit down on the street and the chief brings your wife a crisply folded flag. The fuck is wrong?
That you don't fully realize you carry. You are the only person in their entire current life who has the full picture, not the curated version, the actual one. The thing they did, the thing they buried, the thing they reshaped into the heroic, sympathetic, palatable origin story they've been telling at brunches for 2 decades. You were there. You saw it before it got the makeover. And this is the part that's killing them. You did not say a single word about it today. You didn't have to. Your silence in that room was louder than any accusation could have been. Because accusations get debated, stories get countered, receipts get reframed, but a person who knows the truth, sitting calmly in the corner with a plate of fruit, not interrupting, not correcting, just existing, that person makes the room start checking the math on its own. Let me tell you what's happening in their head right now, because I know you're going to wonder. They're not afraid of you. They've stopped being afraid of you specifically a long time ago. What they're afraid of is the version of themselves that exists inside your head, the accurate version, the one without the makeup. They've spent 20 years making sure no one in their daily life has ever met that version. And tonight, they had to share a room with the one person who's been quietly carrying that version around since before the lie was even fully built.
Amputate a man's leg and he can still feel it tickling. Tell me, Mom, when your little girl is on the slab.
And what made it worse, what really genuinely made it worse, is that you looked fine. That's the part they cannot get over. You looked settled. You looked like somebody who outgrew the part of their life where the wound was still in charge. You did not look like somebody waiting for revenge. You did not look like somebody rehearsing a confrontation in the bathroom mirror.
You want to protect the world, but you don't want it to change. How is humanity saved if it's not allowed to?
You looked like a person who, frankly, doesn't need any of it anymore. And nothing is more terrifying to a liar than a witness who is no longer angry. Anger they can work with. Anger means you still care about the outcome. Anger means you are still in the negotiation. Anger means there's still a deal to be made. But peace? Peace means you've moved on. Peace means you are not invested in their downfall. Peace means that when the room finally figures it out, and it will figure it out, those 18 seconds are already doing the work. You will not even be there to claim the credit. You probably wondered, while you were sitting in your car for those 11 minutes, why you had even been invited in the first place. The answer is simple, and it is the thing that's going to keep them awake the most. They invited you because they thought you were safe. They thought the lie had aged out of you.
An empire toppled by its enemies can rise again, but one which crumbles from within, that's dead forever.
They thought enough time had passed, enough life had happened, enough therapy and growing up and moving on had occurred, that the version of you who knew was no longer the version of you who was in charge of your own life. They thought the witness had retired. They were wrong. The witness didn't retire. The witness just got quieter. The witness got patient. The witness developed the one trait that makes a liar's entire life impossible, a long memory carried with a calm face. Now, here is what they're going to do next. I want you to be ready for it. Within 72 hours, they are going to make a small, weird,
The power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
friendly gesture in your direction, a like on something old, a hope you're doing well, if they have any thread of access to you. Maybe a routed message through a mutual person. I ran into so-and-so the other day. They really enjoyed seeing you. It will look casual. It will not be casual. It is reconnaissance. They are checking the door. They are checking whether you've ever talked to anyone in 20 years. They want to know what you've been doing, exactly, with the information all this time. The answer is nothing. You have been living. You've been raising a kid, or paying a bill, or learning to like running, or rebuilding from your own private thing that had absolutely nothing to do with them. You weren't even thinking about them most of the time. They were a footnote in your life. They were acting like you've been an editor of theirs. And here's something they don't realize you've already noticed. Over the last 20 years, they have been quietly, gently, never in a way you could prove, putting a small layer of doubt on you in certain rooms.
I am altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
Nothing actionable, just little, calibrated comments dropped at very specific moments. You know how they get. They've always been a little intense about that, you know. I love them, but their memory has always been kind of a mess on this one thing. Nothing slanderous, nothing you could ever confront them on without looking paranoid. Just an extremely thin coat of pre-applied doubt, designed to discredit you in advance, in case you ever decided to say something. And it worked, for years. People who didn't know you well enough to push back on those small comments quietly absorbed them. You probably noticed, somewhere along the way, that certain people in their orbit were a little cooler to you than they should have been. You probably told yourself it was nothing. It wasn't nothing. It was the slow, professional work of someone protecting a lie. And tonight, by walking into that room and just standing in the kitchen looking calm and well-adjusted and bored, you undid years of that careful pre-discrediting in under 20 minutes.
You bring me the money and I let her go. Otherwise, she's accountable. That's the best deal you're gonna get. I won't tell you, you can save yourself.
Because the version of you they had been describing for 2 decades, that version doesn't exist. And everyone in that room saw it. Back to the recon message. Here's the worst part for them. You're not going to respond to it. Not because you are being cruel, because you don't have the energy to lie back. You don't have the bandwidth to perform, "We're fine." You don't have any leftover capacity to manage how comfortable they get to feel about you. So you'll see it, you'll look at it for a second, you'll know exactly what it is, and you'll put the phone down. That silence, your silence, is what finishes the job. Because the lie didn't die the moment you walked in the room. The lie dies slowly.
Did you do this to me? You're an adult, man. Nobody told you to smoke that. Made a decision, live with your decision.
Over the next 9 days, while one person at that party keeps turning over what they saw, keeps noticing other small things in retrospect, keeps asking the storyteller weird little clarifying questions that nobody used to ask. The lie doesn't end with a bang. It ends with a sequence of small re-examinations happening in the heads of people who used to give the storyteller the benefit of the doubt for free. Let me show you what 6 weeks from now looks like, because I want you to see it. It's a smaller gathering. It's not the same room. It's somebody's house. There are 9 people there. The storyteller is one of them. You are not. And somebody, not the person who clocked the pitch shift, somebody else entirely, somebody who heard the second-hand version of the conversation about whatever felt off that day, asks a casual, clarifying question about the original story. They don't mean anything by it. They are not testing, they are just curious. But the storyteller, for the first time in 20 years, gives a slightly wrong answer. A date that doesn't match a date someone else in the room has heard.
Always the best of. Best
goddamn bartender from Timbuktu to Portland, Maine.
A name in a sequence that doesn't fit. Nothing huge, nothing you could point at, and nobody calls them out on it. Nobody even reacts visibly. But 2 of the 9 people in the room exchange the tiniest possible look. The kind of look that lasts a quarter of a second and isn't even fully conscious. The kind of look that, by the time the people exchanging it are driving home, they will both have already half forgotten making. And that is how the lie ends. Not in a confrontation, not in a screenshot, in a quarter-second look between 2 people who are now, both of them, quietly going to start checking the math. You won't be there for it. You won't get a phone call about it. You will probably never know it happened. You'll just notice, 6 months from now, that their name has slowly stopped coming up in your circle. That somebody you used to share a holiday table with no longer gets the invite, that a quiet little corner of the social world you used to have to navigate around them has reorganized itself in your absence. A year from tonight, you're going to be doing something completely ordinary. You'll be picking up a prescription, or you'll be folding laundry on the couch, or you'll be on a phone call about a bill you can't believe you got charged for. And somebody who used to be in your peripheral life, somebody you barely talk to anymore, is going to mention, in passing, that they hadn't seen the storyteller in a while. They'll say it the way you mention any small absence. No weight on it. You will say something neutral. You will not register it as significant. You will hang up. You will keep folding the laundry. You will not understand that you have just heard, in passing, the obituary of a 20-year lie. That's how the universe pays you back for not making it a scene, because you understood something a long time ago that most people never figure out. The loudest revenge is always the least effective one. The minute you make it personal, the minute you swing, the minute you grab the microphone, you give the liar something to defend against. You give them a story to tell. You hand them the role of the misunderstood, the persecuted, the unfairly attacked. The lie they've been carrying for 20 years gets a fresh coat of paint, courtesy of your anger. So you didn't swing. You didn't grab anything. You walked into a room. You drank something you didn't drink. You said hi. You said bye. You went home. And the lie collapsed under its own weight, because lies always do, eventually, when the witness in the corner refuses to perform. So if you're sitting there tonight feeling slightly off, like something happened today that you can't quite name, like the air at that thing felt a half-degree heavier than usual, like you came home a little more tired than the event itself should have made you, trust that feeling. You're not imagining it. Something did happen. You just weren't the one who had to lift it. The room did the lifting. The storyteller's own face did the lifting. The friend by the back wall who finally saw the seam did the lifting. You just had to walk in. You walked into a room today. You ended a 20-year lie. You didn't have to say a single word. You didn't have to raise your voice. You didn't have to bring receipts. You didn't have to confront anybody. You just had to exist, calmly, in a place where the lie had to exist next to you. Go to sleep. They're not going to.